Hello, I am Courtney, what's up? And today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite books of 2015. 2015 was a crazy year with me dealing with books. Like in the beginning of this year, I was in a reading slump, and then I wasn't in one, and then summer started, and my reading slump came back, and then school started, and then I wasn't in a reading slump, and then this past month of December, I haven't been able to read anything. But it's okay. I'm getting out of it. I'm reading a book right now, and it's really good. It's Shatter Me by Tara Mafi, and it's so good! But yeah, 2015 was crazy. Even though a good amount of it I was in a reading slump, I still managed to read a lot of great books. Some of the books I read this year are some of my favorite books, like, ever now. Before I start, I just want to give a shout out to Just One Day by Gail Forman. This was the first book I read back in February when I was still in my reading slump. It took me a long time to read, but I still managed to read it, and it was so good. Like, I love this book. It couldn't make it into my list though, but I just had to give it the honorary mention because it was the first book I read. So thank you for helping me get out of my reading slump. So I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 favorite books. I'm not doing 15 because that's going to take too long, and plus I've done like top 10 with TV shows and movies, so I'm just going to keep the top 10 going long. Okay, so now let's discuss my favorite books of 2015. Yay! So at number 10 we have The Heir by Kyra Cass. The Heir by Kyra Cass is the fourth book in the selection series, and this book takes place 20 years later after America wins the selection, and it's about America Maxon's daughter. Her name's Edelyn, and she does her own selection, and it is awesome. I really love this book. It was one of my most anticipated releases of this year, and it did not disappoint me, even though Edelyn, she's like really mean. Like, she's like her mom, but kind of worse. I still really love this book. I'm really looking forward to The Crown coming out next year. That's one of my most anticipated releases of 2016, and I just really love this book, and plus the cover is glorious. At number 9 we have I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. I regret not making a book talk for this book because I really wished I had one, because this book was so good. I read it back in like April, and it was amazing. It was so good. It's about these two twins aren't that close, and it's just like their journey of like becoming close again. It's so beautiful. I've never read a book like this before, and it was really interesting to read, like how the boy, like, it's a boy and girl twin. The boy is told through him when he was 13, and then the girl is told through her when she's 16, so it's like present for her and then past for him. And it's so interesting how it flows, and it was really well done. I just loved seeing the relationship and how it got better, and like all the stuff that happened in this book was crazy, and plus this cover is glorious. At number 8 we have Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I had to include this book in because this book was so good. I don't know if it's my favorite Rainbow Rowell book, but it might be because it was that good. I read this book in like 3 days. It was that good. Every second I had free time, like, I was just reading this book, and it was so good. I really liked the magic element that's brought into this, and it was really fun reading this book. I had such a fun time reading it, and I loved it so much. Coming down to number 7 is Love Letters to the Dead by Avia Delarai. I do not own this book, so I am going to show you a picture of it right now. I've never related so much before to a main character. Usually the main characters in books I read are 16 or 17, and the main character in this book is 14, but I'm 15. But she's a freshman in high school, and I'm a freshman in high school, so I just understood her mindset, and I just loved this book so much. The concept of it is so interesting, how the book is told through letters, and the main character is writing letters to dead people, and I know that sounds weird, but it's actually really interesting, and I just loved it. This book was great. I read it in like 3 days. It was so good. At number 6, we have Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. When I was writing my list, I was just like, I have to include Rebel Belle in this, or else the list won't be the same. And Rebel Belle was so good. Even though the plot is like super cheesy, you know, it's still so good. I loved it. If you rewatch like my videos from the summertime, literally in every video I talk about Rebel Belle because I was obsessed with Rebel Belle. It was so good. Oh, this book is amazing. Miss Mayhem isn't as good, but Rebel Belle, some good stuff. At number 5, we have A Court in Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I have a really close bond to this book because this book, I went to a Sarah J. Maas book signing and I got it signed, and it was my first book signing and it was really awesome. See, she signed that to me and it was just like the best day ever. This book for a long time was like my favorite book of this year and also like my favorite fantasy read, but then other books came into my life, but this book still was good stuff. This is a really fun, such a good book. Like, it's so good. If you don't know what it's about this girl named Farah. She shoots this wolf, and this wolf is actually like this special and important thing. She has to go to this court, and it's awesome. Like, I love this book, and I'm super excited for the sequel to come out next year. This book was just super fun to read. I just needed it at the time when I like read it. Like, it was just the perfect timing. And it was just so good. I love the adventures and stuff, and it's great. And I'm so excited for the sequel. At number 4, we have To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I was going to include both books, like also P.S. I Still Love You for this, but then I had to choose one. So I chose this one because I think this one was more fun, even though I love the sequel. This one was just, it was so much fun, you know, with the all the letters and stuff, and just, this book was great. If you don't know what this book is about, it's about this girl named Lara Jean, and she writes these letters to her crush, but she never sends them out, and one day they're sent out, and so now she has all these boys coming after her and being like, oh, you have this crush on me, and it's super fun. I loved it. All this stuff happens and it's crazy, but it's such a fun book. I loved it. At the time I read it was just the perfect timing because I was still kind of in my reading slump, and just this book was so good. I don't know if there's gonna be a third book or not, but if there is, like, thank you, because I want more. I want to be reunited with these characters because I love them so much. We are coming down to our top 3, and number 3 is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, Book 1, The Sword of Summer by Rick Riordan. I was super shocked when I was writing down my list and I put Magnus Chase as number 3 because usually Rick Riordan books are kind of an automatic number 1 for me, but I'm sorry, Magnus, but you are put as number 3! If you don't know what this is Rick Riordan's new series. It's actually not a series, it's a trilogy, but it's about Norse mythology. Main character, Magnus Chase, he's cousins with Annabeth Chase, and it's awesome. This book was great. I loved it. I had so much fun reading it. Like, I had not realized how funny first POV is when it comes to Rick Riordan books, and just, it was great. At number 2, we have Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. You know how I said earlier, you know, ACOTAR was like my favorite fantasy book ever, you know? Well, then Queen of Shadows came out, and then I read it, and then I loved it, and then it became my favorite fantasy book ever. Queen of Shadows was a masterpiece. This book was so good. Like, this book was crazy and intense. Like, that ending though, I was just like, oh my gosh, what even is happening in this book? So good. If you have not read the Throne of Glass series yet, what are you doing with your life? Go read it. It is awesome, and this book definitely by far is my favorite in the series. Like, the Throne of Glass books get better as they go along, and this one was just awesome, and I loved every second of it. It was intense and crazy, and just, I had all the feels, and just, it was so good. This book was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Well, actually, I take that back. Number 1 was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Speaking of number 1, my favorite book of 2015 is, drumroll please, Winter by Marissa Meyer. I do not have Winter with me right now. My friend is borrowing it, so I'm gonna show a picture of it to you right now. But if you don't know what Winter is the fourth and final book in the Lunar Chronicles series, which is one of my favorite series of all time. I love that series so much, and Winter was like the best thing ever. It's probably the best conclusion book I've ever read. Like, it was so good. Over the past 2 years of reading books, I have come to realize that it is so hard to wrap up a series. You want to make sure everything is resolved and wrapped up, and you know, finale books, they're either really good or not good at all. And Winter was just phenomenal. Like, it was so good. Everything is resolved. You get to see what everyone's future is gonna be, and just, it was so good. Winter is definitely one of the best books I have ever read, like, ever. It was so good, man. It was so good, and I hate to say it, but it was so much better than The Blood of Olympus. You know me, I love Percy Jackson, but Blood of Olympus wasn't what I wanted, and Winter was just everything I could ask for. I wish I had Winter with me so I could give it a big hug. But yes, my friends, those were my top 10 favorite books of 2015. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share your thoughts in the comments down below. What were some of your favorite books of 2015? Were some of your favorites mentioned in this video? If not, what were some of your favorite books that weren't in this video? And please let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to watch more videos from me talking about books and all that glorious fangirl stuff, you can click the subscribe button down below. I'm Courtney, and I will see you all next time with a new video soon, so I will see you then, so goodbye! Yo!